Welcome to the U.S. Military Test Prep channel by Study.com. My name is Corey, I'm a Seaburn Specialist in the U.S. Army Reserve and an ASVAB Test Prep expert. On this channel, I will walk through everything you need to know in order to pursue a career in the military. I am to be your secret weapon, providing you with expert tips, insider advice, and top-notch study materials to boost both your confidence and your results. In today's video, I'm going to cover the General Science subtest of the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery, or ASVAB for short. Let's get started. ASVAB's General Science subtest tests your understanding of fundamental science concepts. It covers a broad spectrum of scientific topics that are usually included in high school curricula. This includes life science, earth and space science, and physical science. General Science is one of the subtests in the science and technical domain. This is the first subtest to be taken in the overall ASVAB test. The General Science subtest plays a crucial role in helping the military determine an individual's aptitude for technical and science-based careers. We'll dig into more information about the subtest content. Let's take a look at the test format first. Like other ASVAB subtests, expect the questions in this subtest to be in multiple choice format. The amount of time and number of items in the General Science subtest varies based on whether you're taking the Computer Adaptive Test, also known as the CAT ASVAB, or if you're signing up to take the paper and pencil version, or P&P ASVAB. The CAT ASVAB is adaptive. The difficulty of questions adjusts based on your previous answers. Correct answers lead to harder questions, while incorrect answers lead to easier ones. Pretty simple. The CAT ASVAB also has a time limit for each section, and once you move on, you can't return to previous questions. If you decide to take the CAT format, the General Science subtest will have at least 15 scored questions with a time limit of 12 minutes. Tryout questions, which are unscored, may also be included. The P&P ASVAB, on the other hand, has a fixed set of questions for all test takers. It allows you to skip and return to questions within a section as long as time permits. Additionally, the P&P version generally takes longer to complete than the CAT ASVAB. The General Science subtest in the P&P ASVAB will consist of 25 questions, which you have 11 minutes to complete. You may now be asking, is the CAT ASVAB easier or harder than the P&P ASVAB? Ultimately, the better option depends on your test-taking style, whether you prefer the adaptive, quicker format of the CAT ASVAB or the flexibility of the P&P ASVAB. Regardless which test option you choose, my first test tip is to get accustomed to the test format. Since all questions are multiple choice, make sure to pay attention to keywords in each question, and practice eliminating obviously incorrect answers. As I mentioned earlier, the General Science subtest is designed to evaluate your fundamental understanding of life science, earth and space science, and physical science. So my second tip in conquering this subtest is to review basic concepts in biology, chemistry, physics, and earth science. You can use high school textbooks or online resources to revisit these topics. The life science topics in the ASVAB General Science subtest include biology, botany, human anatomy, and physiology and ecology. You may encounter questions related to the structure and function of living organisms, the characteristics of different plants and animal species, and the interrelationships between organisms and their environments. My third tip is to practice with sample questions designed specifically for the ASVAB. This is the best way to become familiar with the test format and the types of questions that'll appear on the test. So let's get a bit of practice in. Here's a sample of what you can encounter. Moving on to more subtest coverage, Earth and space science topics may include questions on geology, astronomy, meteorology, and oceanography. These questions might involve understanding weather patterns, the structure of the Earth, or the properties of celestial bodies like planets and stars. Here's another practice problem. Finally, physical science questions assess your knowledge of physics and chemistry. This can include topics like the laws of motion, force, energy, atomic structure, chemical reactions, and properties of matter. Let's have another practice question on this topic. I hope you were able to get those practice questions. Now that you know what's covered in this subtest, my fourth tip is related to time, and it's to practice using timed conditions. Whichever format you choose to take your ASVAB, you know you're in for a real time crunch. Get used to the intensity of the actual ASVAB test by timing yourself as you practice. Getting a feel of the time constraint will help you develop the speed and focus you need for the actual test and help you get a sense of how to apply test-taking strategies. This will also help you set your pace on the actual test. Allocating your time wisely and being mindful of the time limit for the subtest will help you answer as much test items as you can. My final tip for prepping for the General Science subtest is to always check what you got wrong when you do your practice tests. Look for any patterns in your practice test mistakes. This lets you see if you're weak on specific question types or topics. Always check the reasons why you're not getting practice items right, and understand concepts related to your mistakes. This will help you focus your study efforts on weak areas, ensuring that you gradually improve. We've covered the general science subtest details and some practical tips on how you can improve and perform better in the general science test. How can you best prepare to improve your chances of getting a strong ASVAB score? Check out Study.com's ASVAB Test Prep course, which contains practice tests, flashcards, and lessons. It's practically the Swiss Army knife for ASVAB Test Prep. Study.com's practice tests are designed to help you become more familiar with essential ASVAB topics and get you used to problem solving under timed conditions. What's also great about their prep course is that it helps you focus your study efforts by analyzing your practice test mistakes and suggesting topics that you need to build up on. This must be why Study.com proudly has a 92% pass rate for test takers who've used their prep courses, so don't forget to check them out. That concludes today's episode of U.S. Military Test Prep. Give us a thumbs up if you're feeling more prepared, leave us a comment with any questions or topics you'd like us to cover, and make sure you're subscribed for more U.S. Military Test Prep content. Stand by, stay frosty. I'll see you in the next one.